For runners and walkers, it's really important to stay hydrated, not just when you're active, but around the clock. Alissa Paladino from Good Measure Meals is here, and she has a surefire way to let us know if you're hydrated.
So the best way to regularly assess how well hydrated you are is actually to monitor the color of your urine. You want to look for a light lemonade color. It doesn't need to be completely clear, that's a myth. But if it starts to look more like iced tea, that's a sign of serious dehydration and you want to start taking in fluids immediately. But dehydration, it can be fatal and it happens more quickly than people tend to think. So stay on top of your hydration in everyday life by sipping on fluids, monitoring the color of your urine, and then also really focus on the fluids you're taking in before, during, and after your runs.
Now we know being hydrated is more than just water. How can we balance the electrolytes and water intake?
How much to drink really depends on how salty a sweater you are. Which varies greatly. So it's hard to give a one-size-fits-all recommendation, but half Powerade, half water would be a great place to start, and then adjust accordingly during your training. So it is possible to overhydrate, and it can be fatal, but it's rare, and it typically happens when you're losing a lot of fluids and electrolytes to sweat, but you're only replenishing the water. So this depletes the sodium concentration of your blood, leading to hyponatremia. The best way to prevent that is to make sure you're taking in both fluids and electrolytes.
And how often during a run should I take in fluids? Should I wait till I'm thirsty?
No, don't wait until you're thirsty to start hydrating, because thirst is actually a late sign of dehydration. So first, stay on top of hydration in everyday life by drinking enough fluids, making sure you have that light lemonade color. Then in the 30 minutes before exercise or before your run, try to take in 8 to 10 ounces of fluid. And then really every 15 to 20 minutes during your run, you want to be sipping on fluids. The goal is to keep up with sweat loss. And everybody's so different as far as their sweat rate, so again, it's hard to give a one-size-fits-all recommendation, but you want to finish your run with less than a 2% loss of body weight.
Speaking of weight loss during a run, we know that the weight that you lose is not body fat. So talk to us about how to replace fluids and how much we need to replace.
So the best way to determine how much fluid you lost on your run and how much you need to replenish is to weigh yourself before and after. Take into account the fluids you took in during your run, and then every pound lost on the scale means 16 ounces of fluid that you need to replenish. And it's actually more like 20 ounces to take into account insensible fluid losses like urine.
Thank you, Alissa, for all these wonderful tips. For a more individualized hydration plan, email Alissa at nutrition@goodmeasuremeals.com.